Rauj, I need to get better at using the bow. Every time I tell myself I'm gonna learn to use the bow and then I never do. Darn it. You're still trying to find a way to a girl's heart. Give me your blessing. I give you my blessing. Good luck. Honestly, you know, before with Etheria, I've said the secret to men is to just be nice to them, right? And I mean it. Just be nice to men, you know? You know what's the secret with women? Seriously. I will tell you the secret. Not all women, but most women. It's actually two things, but they sort of go together, okay? Are you ready for this? Number one, you ask a question about them. Number two, you listen to their answer, but you're actually properly, like, actively engaged and listening, you know? You're not just like, You're listening. You're in it. You're understanding. And then there's a little bonus number 3, rinse, repeat. That's it. Show genuine interest. If you, be an act, that's it. I am telling you, that is it. That is it. That is all. It's hard to be genuine. Not if you are interested in someone genuinely. I mean, yeah, if you have no interest in this person, it's hard to, you know, fake wanting to interact with them. But if you genuinely meet a person and you think they're interesting and you want to get to know them, it's not hard at all to, you know, ask them questions and find out about them and talk to them, right? I feel like that's a pretty normal thing to, right? Can't even imagine a girl giving you the time of day. That's not true. As you know, I'm a resident extrovert. And I've talked to a lot of people. Oh, this is the glaive. Oh my god, okay. I don't know if anybody can confirm or deny this, but I think sometimes we have all encountered a couple where, you know, we think to ourselves, so usually here I just let them like use up their stuff and then I go to them. We have all sometimes seen a couple where we go, huh, how did he get with her? And what, hold on, wait, let me actually focus on this. Okay, wait. Okay, well, never mind the blocking. Hello? I don't know how to block. I'm just gonna kill him. Please. One more. Oh my god, that scared me. And usually what the guy and the girl will say, it's always, and I say this for, you know, if it's a straight relationship, man and woman, that's usually, and a lot of times, I've always heard the same thing. Oh, he made me laugh. He listened when I talked. It's usually those same things. It's, oh, he made me feel like, you know, what I said really mattered. He listened. He was interested in my life. What about gay relationships? I have not been in a gay relationship, so I unfortunately cannot really give you much advice on that. Okay, hold on. Let me actually focus. I don't want to lose this. I want to actually start winning some tournaments, you know? But I'm just saying, the proof is in the pudding. That, quite often, it's just, you know, show interest. The realest dating advice I ever heard a man give another man, actually. Oh, fudge. The realest dating advice I ever heard. Fun fact, gay people are just people. It's true. But usually with a better skincare routine than me. Years ago when I worked at a restaurant, one waiter came up to another waiter to ask for dating advice. And basically, the waiter that asked the advice, oh my God, their name is Honey Tongue. It's me. He felt like he came up to, so the waiter that he was asking the advice from was a pretty, like, pretty attractive man. Not that the waiter asking the advice was bad, but like one guy was definitely like, wow, like, oof. Every time we had female customers, they would always look at him, flirt with him, So one of the waiters came up to him and he was like, hey, what's your secret, man? Like, how do you do this? How do you have all these women flirting with you? No. And then basically the hot waiter told the slightly less hot waiter this advice, and it stuck with me forever. He told him, find a guy. And it's going to sound so mean, but I then thought about it. I'm like, this is the realest advice I could have ever heard. So the hotter waiter told the less hot waiter, find a guy who looks kind of like you, in the sense of like, if you're kind of like a shorter guy, find a shorter guy. If you have certain features, basically find a person who looks kind of like you, maybe like in your level of hotness, who is dating the people that you want to date, and ask them how they do it. And I remember thinking, that is such good advice. Because, sometimes, for example, for me, if you ask me now, like, oh, Nina, how do you meet a man? Or how do you meet a woman? I'll be like, oh, it's easy. How do you meet anybody? You just go outside and men talk to you. But that's not true. If the roles are reversed and you're a guy and you're thinking like, okay, so women are just going to talk to me. Probably not. So if, for example, you're a guy looking for women and you ask me for advice, I can't help you. I could sort of kind of help you. But realistically, right, if somebody asks me like, oh, how do I get a guy to talk to me? It's like, oh, easy. Guys just talk to you on the street. Does that make sense for the advice? But it's so real because it's basically the waiter telling the other waiter like, look, I can tell you, and he's like, I'll honestly tell you, the hotter waiter was like, I don't do anything. Women come up to me. Women talk to me. Women want to know me. So what am I going to tell you as advice? He said, I'm going to tell you, just wait for the women to come and pick the one you like the most. And he said, but that's not going to help you, is it? Me giving you that advice isn't going to help you find women. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't believe he was so honest with him. I can't believe like he had this honesty, and I just remember having so much respect and thinking, wow, like this guy gets it. And he could have easily just been like, well, just do this, just do that. That's what I do. But it wasn't what he did. That guy did nothing. Genuinely, that guy did nothing. And women were just all over him. So him telling the other guy, oh, don't worry, just let the women come to you is such awful advice. Like, the women come to you. They're not going to come to him the same way. And I always thought that was so respectful. I know it's a little too straightforward, but I think I remember too, he was like, do you want the real truth or do you want like the sugar-coated one? And the guy was like, no. Hit me with it. Like, give it to me real. And I thought, wow. How freaking, like, let's be honest. How many people would not give you the truth like that? How many people would not go out of their way to, like, do that? And he did. And he did. And I just remember thinking, oh, my God. But, yeah. So that is genuinely the realest dating advice I ever heard for men. And it was giving from one man to another man. How do you feel? How y'all judging this advice? Is this good dating advice? You could be like, Nina, it sucks. You don't know anything about men. Advice. Okay, that's another one. That's a good one. Be hot. It's nice enough. It's advice. It's advice. It's advice. It's advice. It does the job. But I'm sure, Marshall, you've sometimes seen a guy that maybe you felt like you know, wasn't like Hollywood levels of like, ooh, you know, wow, look at this guy. And he was dating some great girls. And, you know, you could probably ask him. I don't know. Oh, that's a better way of putting them. Basically, learn to use what you have from people who have the same things that have used them effectively. Yeah, that makes sense. Because think about it. If you're learning to use a bow, you're not going to go to a spearman to ask him for advice on a bow. And don't get me wrong, maybe the spearman can give you good advice. You'll be like, oh, every time I fight bowmen, they do this, 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 and it messes me up. Every time I do this, but technically, the best person to teach you how to use a bow is somebody who's using a bow. Let me put it in video game terms for you. But yeah, I still remember being like, wow, he basically told the guy, you know, go talk to somebody less hot and see how they are doing it. That's basically what he said. And I just, like I said, so much like respect for the honesty.